There's something about human nature that leads us to always love an underdog laughing in the face of adversity, and that's exactly what AFC Bournemouth have been doing for the last couple of years now. Hello, I'm Luke Murphy, and I'm going to be exploring the recent successes of the South Coast team. At the time of recording this, Bournemouth currently sit 15th in the Premier League with only 2 games left to play. And for those of you who don't really follow football, that essentially means that they're the 15th best team in the country at this minute. They've done fantastically well to be in the position they're in now. However, not that long ago, things were very different for AFC Bournemouth. With me, I've got James Silk to help me tell you the Bournemouth story. So James, tell me, how long have you been supporting Bournemouth?
I've been supporting Bournemouth for many years, since I was, I can't think of the age, but all the way back in League Two.
I think I should take a moment here just to quickly explain the league structure in English football. In England, we have this thing called the Football League. The Premier League is the top, meaning it's the first tier, the Championship is second, the second tier, League 1 is actually the third tier, and League 2 is the fourth tier of English football. And as James just said, that's where Bournemouth found themselves. They found themselves here because the previous season, in February, the club entered administration with reported debts of around £4 million. And because this doesn't comply with Football League rules, they were consequently deducted 10 points. The 10-point deduction ultimately resulted in them finishing 21st in the league, meaning they were relegated to League 2. Things went from bad to worse as their financial woes continued. The club were deducted another 17 points for the start of the new season. Those must have been quite troubling times for you, James. What was the atmosphere around the club like at that time?
It depends, like some games it felt a little bit like the atmosphere was a bit flat, but generally there were even outside the stadium buckets where people would put donations in to try and help the club. So really it was like a great community spirit for the club. I thought it was great.
As I explained earlier, there are 4 tiers to the English Football League. However, you can fall out of this into what's called non-league football, and the effects of falling into this for a club can be absolutely devastating. So Bournemouth were faced with a seemingly impossible task of avoiding relegation despite the points deduction. Things didn't get off great for Bournemouth, and on the 31st of December they'd already had 2 managerial sackings. The task of pulling off a miracle fell to former player Eddie Howe, who took over with the club 10 points adrift at the bottom of the table. Despite not having much managerial experience, Howe managed to secure 12 wins and 3 draws from his 23 games in charge to magically keep the club in the Football League. So James, what was that feeling like to overcome such a massive deficit to actually stay up?
I couldn't believe minus 17, and we've got all the way, I mean we sing about it now in the stands, getting all the way to, I can't remember where we finished, but obviously it was just outside the relegation zone, and it was amazing.
They in fact finished 21st, meaning that they missed out on the relegation zone by 2 places. The next season came around, and this gave Howe a whole season to fully implement his philosophy without any points deductions. Magnificently, Howe managed to guide the Cherries to 2nd place in League 2, meaning that they secured automatic promotion back to League 1. What were the feelings of the fans like at this time, James? Was it just business as usual, or were you overwhelmed to be back in League 1 so quickly?
Oh, it was amazing. It was not a back where we're supposed to be feeling. It was a, I can't believe last season we were almost getting relegated and now we're, getting back. It was a brilliant feeling.
Having just got the club back into League 1, Howe took the decision to leave the club to go and manage Burnley, who were in the Championship at the time. The club appointed Lee Bradbury as manager, and in his first season he managed to guide them to a League 1 playoff semi-final. However, they couldn't get past Huddersfield. In the following 11-12 season, Bradbury wasn't able to emulate the successes of last season and was replaced by Paul Groves for the tail end of the season. The club ended up finishing 11th. Groves stayed in charge for the start of the 12-13 season, however it got off to a terrible start, leaving the club near the bottom of the table. Groves was sacked by the club in October 2012, and the club turned back to former manager Eddie Howe to save them once again. Not only did he save them, he managed to steer them to a 2nd place finish in the league, meaning they were promoted to the Championship. This was their first stint in the 2nd tier of English football since 1990. How did that feel, James?
Going up to the Championship was a feeling like it's unbelievable that we're there.
Their first season in the Championship was overwhelmingly successful. The club finished 10th and were never really in any danger of being relegated. Although a 10th place finish was their highest ever in the Football League, Bournemouth managed to defy all the odds and go one better the following season. They had an absolutely amazing campaign, amounting 90 points and getting a 1st place finish in the Championship, resulting in promotion to the Premier League. James, can you try and put into words what it felt like as a Bournemouth fan winning the Championship?
The last day winning that Championship was absolutely incredible.
And so, we arrive at this season, and at the start of it, Bournemouth were one of the favourite teams to go down, and despite all their poor luck with injuries this season, they've managed to get to the 40-point mark quite comfortably and avoided relegation easily. So, what does the future hold for Bournemouth? Well, who knows? But in this crazy topsy-turvy game we call football, anything can happen. I'd like to thank James for helping me tell this story, and you for listening. And remember, keep an eye out for AFC Bournemouth.